All right. Excited to welcome all these second graders here. I'm going to call this meeting to order. I think it is 5:30. Yes, 5:30. And tonight's invocation is going to be done by, hey, Robert? Michael? Joe? You guys all hiding in the back. Okay. Tonight's invocation will be led by Pastor David Lorenz from First Baptist Church of Friendswood. So if you all wouldn't mind standing, because we're going to do an invocation and immediately go into the pledges. So let's go over here. Take it away, Pastor.
Will you bow with me, please? Heavenly Father, tonight we're grateful for new things, for the blessing of this remodeled chamber and just the beautiful space that it is. And we're grateful also for the opportunity to instill things like integrity in our second graders and help them understand what it means to lead well. And so thank you for that great opportunity. We pray blessing over these second graders and their families as they are here tonight leading. And as our council meets, give them the wisdom and the insight and the fortitude to carry out the things that will help our city continue to be one of the greatest cities in the nation. We ask that you would bless us, bless those that we encounter, and help us to continue to honor you in all that we do. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Good job. Thanks, Pastor. Well done. Well done. Okay. So we're going to go right into item 4, which is Council for a Day. We're going to consider a proclamation declaring February 2nd, 2026 as Windsong Elementary School Day in the city of Friendswood. That's today, Groundhog Day. Council's been doing this for about 7 years. We only missed the school year during COVID when we didn't think it was smart to bring second graders in here and spread germs. So we didn't do it that year, but we've been doing it. And now we have 4 schools with second grade in Friendswood. So we do this 4 times a year, 4 times during the school year. This is our 3rd school this year, and we have 1 more school to go, I think. I forget what's Westwood is coming probably in April. Is that about? So anyway, we're glad that you guys are here. We started doing this for a couple reasons. We wanted to show these kids not only what Pastor Lorenz said about learning about integrity, but we want you to learn about that we are all volunteers up here. And so public service, we all volunteer in these positions to give back to the city. We want you to understand the value of community service. And we also want to foster the leadership program in FISD. And, you know, you people that are here know these are future leaders that are sitting over here. When you see them up here, these kids, I'm waiting for the day that somebody gets elected to city council and comes up to me. I'll be in my rocking chair by then, but they'll say, hey, you know, I was a council member for the day, you know, way back in '07 or whatever, you know. So these are future leaders right here. And we want to also help support FISD's character education program, which is an important part of the school district's plan here. So we've been doing that for a while, and we're just so thrilled to have them here again. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce you guys each individually. You're going to come up and take your seat. And then once you're all up here, we'll turn it over to the mayor. And Jackson, you'll get to lead the charge here on your script, okay? So first off, City Secretary number 1, Audrey Studebaker from Miss Goodrich's class. Where's Miss Goodrich? Check that out. Man, I'm glad that you don't put any of our pictures up on the wall. All right, while they're taking a picture, because we have, how many, let me see. We got 2 city secretaries today. So City Secretary number 2, Ensley Rich from Miss Galvin's class. Where's Miss Galvin? Galvan? Sorry. Good to see you. Councilmember number 6, filling in for Councilmember Ross down there in the end. Sharp purple jacket is Amelia Newfer. How did I say that? Did I say that right? What? Canufer. Amalia Canufer. Okay. From Miss Smith's class. Where's Miss Smith? Great. Councilmember position 5, filling in for Councilmember Matranga is Grayson Crabtree. And he is from Miss Williams' class. Where's Miss Williams? All right. Councilmember number 4, Tyler Rodriguez. Taking over for Councilmember Griffon from Miss Smith's class. Miss Smith again. The mayor is Jackson Escobar from Miss Goodrich's class. Is Miss Goodrich here? Oh. Here you go, Jackson. Yeah, that's what I do, climb over the handle.
All right, Jackson, can you picture? All right, 3, 2, 1.
All right. So, Councilmember position 3, filling in for Councilmember Hanks Tripp Coley from Miss Galvan's class. Good to see you. Councilmember Hanks apologizes that she couldn't be here tonight, Tripp.
So, do you want, or either one of y'all? Or both, yeah.
How about, yeah.
Mayor and Pro Tem, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, 3, 2, 1. Yep.
Thanks, Katie. Okay, Councilmember position 2, filling in for Councilmember Branson, Cecilia Balderas. Miss Hendershot. And Councilmember position 1, Mayor Pro Tem John Ellisor, Nora Foster. Again, from Miss Smith's class. Miss Smith, you got 3 students in here, don't you? You won the lottery practically. All right, City Attorney filling in for Karen Horner. Our City Attorney is Preston Barrissey. All right. Miss Hendershot. And our city manager, smartest person in the room, Murad Kabiri, being played by Bailey Paz.
Hello.
Again, from Miss Williams' class. So, okay, Mayor, it's over to you. Do you have a script or you got it memorized?
Yeah, mine's right here.
Oh, there you go.
I have it memorized.
Good job. Okay, we'll get out of your way.
Consider a proclamation declaring February 2nd, 2026 as Winsong Elementary School in the city of Friendswood, Texas.
Mayor and Council, tonight you have before you a proposed proclamation declaring February 2nd, 2026 as Winsong Elementary Day in Friendswood, Texas. As you know, Winsong Elementary School is part of the Friendswood Independent School District and is an exemplary campus and a source of pride for our community.
Has our city attorney approved the wording of the proposed proclamation?
Yes, Mayor. I have drafted the wording of the proposed proclamation and is in line with the vision statement of the City of Friendswood.
Will the city secretary please read the city's vision statement for the record?
The City of Friendswood has the following statement as its vision. Together we build our future in a friendly place to live, work, play, learn, and worship.
Thank you. I will now read the proposed proclamation. This proposed proclamation in the city of Friendswood, Texas, declares February 2nd, 2026 as Winsong Elementary Day in the city of Friendswood, Texas. It is now time to take a vote. Do I have motion accepting the proposed proclamation?
I move that we accept the proposed proclamation as presented.
I second that motion.
I have motion and a second accepting the proposed proclamation. Is there any discussion?
At Winsong Elementary, we pledge to be kids with character, and we pledge to be bucket fillers.
At Winsong Elementary, we will be honest, reliable, and worthy of trust.
We will be responsible and fair, doing what we must.
At Winsong Elementary, with our words and actions, we show that we care.
We will be good citizens and do our share.
At Winsong Elementary, we will respect ourselves and others too.
We will expect the best in all we do. Would the city secretary please read the motion on the table?
We have a motion by Councilmember Foster and a second from Councilmember Balderas to accept the proposed proclamation of City of Friendswood, Texas, declaring February 2nd, 2026 as Winsong Elementary Day in the City of Friendswood, Texas.
We have motion and a second. All in favor, please raise your hand. Any opposed? Please raise your hand. Motion passes 7-0. Congratulations. Congratulations, Winsong Elementary School Day. I will now adjourn this Council of the Day meeting.
You did a good job. Good job, Mayor. Good job. Good job. Hey, do we want to get a group picture with the proclamation out here? Katie, you got any film left? Okay. Hey, you guys, where do you want us? You want us to stand in back and get them all?
Yeah, with the new, I think it's back.
Okay. Council members, everybody behind your chairs, and we'll take a picture with the whole group here with the proclamation. Let David Morenz have your camera. He's tall.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And then if we want to get one in front, I think that would be better.
All right, come on.
Everybody in front?
You want them to take their nameplate and hold it up in front of them?
Yes.
All right.
Do you want us behind them?
Yeah, let's stand behind here. Okay.
We're right here, Tyler.
Here, Jackson, right here, right in front of me.
So kids in front and council behind, just kind of how we did out there.
Okay, perfect.
So kiddos shoulder to shoulder.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Everyone scoot in towards Jackson. Everyone scoot in.
I'll hold this right in front of you, okay?
All right, ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're good.
Good.
Hey, congratulations.
Congratulations, guys. Those are your nameplates.
One council member short here. Sally. Her purse is still here. Just give her a second. Hey, I want to recognize former Mayor Brizendine in the room with his granddaughter Rebecca. Thank you for being here, Mayor. Mayor Smith was here. Former council member Pat McGinnis was here. Still here, Pat? Probably fits the mold of the council member, yeah. Okay, Well, we're back, ready to reconvene here. I'd like to pull one thing forward before we get to item 5, if council will let me. And we're going to recognize some of our police officers tonight. So I'd like to turn the floor over to Rod Kabiri, and you want to do city managers 9F and 9G.
Yes, sir, and thank you, Mr. Mayor, and thank you for adjusting your schedule, council. Tonight, we have recognition of 2 police officers that are retiring after a number of years from their service to the city of Friendswood. When I say a number of years, Officer Barry Yotis has been with us for 45 years. That's quite a span, and Sergeant Cordero has been with us for over 30 years. When you read the accolades as Friendswood being the safest community, it's thanks in large part to these 2 gentlemen and the fine work that the foundation that they have established years ago. We can't thank them enough for their service to our community, both of you. If you would like to say a few words, you're welcome to. Can we switch to the slides? We have a couple of old pictures of them that I would like to show off. All right, so this is Sergeant Cordero. Do you remember what date that was? 19...
Yeah, it was a different century for sure.
No. He hasn't changed much. I wish the mustache would have stayed, so you shouldn't have shaved it off. But thank you, Sergeant Cordero, for your tireless efforts and your service to our community. And the next slide is Officer Barry Yotis, which a number of you in here probably had a ticket from him. Sorry, the previous slide. I apologize. Well, can you let me get on my computer, and if y'all can switch to my computer, I'll show it on my screen.
We didn't have PowerPoint 45 years ago, Officer Yotis, sorry.
Still struggling with the technology.
Yeah, I want to welcome you all to the new improved council chambers tonight, and your PEG dollars paid for all this fancy equipment here. PEG.
A public education governmental channel.
Yeah, that 3 cents on your Comcast bill every month goes into a big pot of money that we can only spend on educating the public and putting out this information. So when we improve the AV in here, and we got a rep from Ford back there in the booth, making sure everything goes well. I don't think we can blame the system on
It's completely my fault.
the missing slide here, but
An old photo of,
Well, we're doing time.
yes, Officer Yotis.
A few comments, observations. My name is Barry Yotis. Again, I've worked here for over 45 years. My family moved to Friendswood in 1966. My dad was a NASA rocket scientist. My mother a registered nurse working downtown. I took Friendswood for granted. I was 12 years old. I was going into 7th grade. I'm certain all my contemporaries consider this to be typical American small town. I appreciate my Boy Scout masters back in the day, my explorer leaders, etc., my teachers in high school. I just appreciate this little town. I thought this was the way everything was. After graduating from Friendswood High School, I went off to college, and I met other people. I went home with them. Went to Kerrville, went to Universal City. I saw their towns. I realized how unique Friendswood was. And I came to understand what I was dealing with. In '66, when we moved here, for one of the first houses on Fall Leaf Lane, it was a lane back then, now it's a drive for some reason, but there was a water leak in our front yard on a Sunday morning. And we're going to church. Of course, I'm 12 years old, I'm in the back seat, but there was a backhoe out there. They're digging up the water leak early on Sunday morning, and the man on the backhoe was Ralph Lowe, the mayor of Friendswood. Now, I knew that. I didn't really appreciate it for the weight of that, but I knew that. I suspect in 1966, Louis Welch did not run a backhoe over Houston on a Sunday morning. But in Friendswood, that was the mayor of Friendswood out there digging up, fixing his water. That was the Friendswood I came to eventually appreciate and realize I moved into after college. When I came back from college, Jimmy Holland was a sergeant at the police department. He propositioned me into it, and Mitch Wright, unfortunately, Chief Wright hired me. I've been through 4 chiefs. I've worn out 3. I'm the last one here leaving, but still remember the mayor of Friendswood out there operating tobacco on Sunday morning, and that's been a lot of my motivation. That's sort of attitude toward the city of Friendswood and our personal interaction and our contributions to it. That's been my motivation. There's a lot of officers at the PD that grew up in Friendswood. Chief Rogers is one, our school resource officer, Drew Whitaker is another, Quinn Pearson's on day shift at the PD. These are all Friendswood kids, just as I was, and their dedication isn't the paycheck. I'm supposed to paycheck helps, but their dedication is to the city. And we're fortunate that we have that group within the city. I think some of the city council members actually grew up in Friendswood, if I recall, perhaps. So we understand. We're, I suspect, on the same page. But thank you for giving me this time to speak with you.
Thank you. We definitely appreciate you, Sergeant. The Sergeant Cordero, Officer Yotis, we really appreciate you. You know, I have talked to our Public Works Director, Steve Avreka, about me jumping on a backhoe, and he said no. So it's not for lack of trying. It's just, you know, we got. Yeah, I think, you know, backhoe, you know, how hard can it be? But anyway, so thank you all for being here, and appreciate all your brothers in blue being here today too. How do y'all like those uniforms? Should we go back to that, Chief? You see that?
Honestly, I'm more impressed.
Huh?
Is that a Camaro?
Barry's probably still got his back in the closet at home. All right, well, okay, we'll get back on track. If you guys, officers, Chief, you need to depart, please. Thank you for being here. I don't mean please leave. I just mean if you need to. Thank you. All right, back to item 5, council comments and reports. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go
Mayor
first.
Pro Tem Elsor, thank you for running the meeting last month. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to express my gratitude to FISD and the school board for letting us use their facilities while this was being upgraded. We appreciate it. It's nice to be back home. As I think about Friendswood PD and my almost 50 years here in Friendswood, I've had a lot of good experiences with them. When I first took the bench, I had a civil litigant that had decided he wanted to kill his lawyer and me. And Friendswood PD would come by and search my house, and the chief came by and handed me a box of buckshot, told me to be ready with my pump shotgun. And Officer Cordero made regular stops by our house, just making sure we were okay. So I love and appreciate the Friendswood officers.
Councilmember Branson.
I too would like to thank FISD for allowing us to use your chambers. They were awesome, but it is nice to be back home. And I appreciate all the work that went into bringing this to fruition this evening. And I want to especially congratulate whoever hung those pictures of past mayors straight. That's a big job. Just a couple of things. EDC will be having Small Business Week at the end of April. It may look a little different than it has for the past 3 years, so stay tuned. The Historical Society is now officially accepting applications for the Josiah Day Baker Award through the month of March. The Friendswood Chamber of Commerce, I hear feedback, honored La Casita, one of my favorite restaurants in town, for 50 years in business. That's pretty huge. They opened up in 1976, so I could do that math real fast, Joe. And Denise Spruill was also honored for her leadership as the outgoing chair of the chamber. FDEDC, stay tuned. The entrance signs are coming soon, right, Stephen Ray? And I just want to highlight, each month we have the Friendswood Community Prayer Breakfast, and oh, that's much better, thank you. And this past month, it was at Friendswood High School, and one of our school board trustees, Bo Eggert, gave his testimony, and it was amazing. If you ever get a chance to hear his story, it is truly a remarkable story, so I just want to highlight that to you. And then I'm going to brag on Stephen now that I put him on the spot about the street signs. HGAC held a roundtable called Bringing Back Main Street, and our chair, Dr. Rebecca Hillenberg, went with me, and we heard Stephen give a wonderful presentation about our sidewalk project that happened here in Friendswood, and we've wrapped it up now. So it was great. So if you get to hear Stephen give that presentation, don't miss that opportunity. And Stephen did such a good job. They want to come to Friendswood in April. So we'll be hosting the HGAC Bringing Back Main Street Roundtable. And the last is, if you have not had a chance to go to FHS musical La Meze, it's really awesome. The pack is awesome, number one, but wow, what an awesome production. It's hard to remember that these are high school kids. So, sir? It is. It really is. It was remarkable, if you get a chance. This next weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Thank you.
I'd also like to thank FISD for the use of their building over there. That was really nice, really spread out. I like all of y'all being closer in and able to hear us and everything. But I do have an Officer Yoda story. I saw him get up and speak a minute ago, but I was in my 1966 Mustang. I hadn't taken it out in a while, and I was driving around the block, and I was coming back up Spreading Oaks, and it died. And here he comes, he pulls in behind me, and he's a sage. He knows everything about cars and everything. He goes, "I can smell the gas. You flooded it." I said, "Well, hell yeah, I guess I might have flooded it." And it smelled and everything. He goes, "Well,
Police car right behind
yeah." And he talked me through it, and boom, cranked back up. But he goes, "Now, you're not supposed to, flood it like that." I said, "Okay," but he just kind of helped me out with that. So I really appreciated it. But other than that, I just thought of it when he was standing up talking, and I said, "I remember you." But yeah, thank you all to our FISD police officer. Friendswood police officers. They're the best.
Councilmember Matranga.
Yeah.
Let's get through with public comments and then have them come up.
Yeah.
Well, Robert, I think it's at least saying for me, I wasn't sure where you were going with that officer story. I thought, oh no, this could go a couple different ways. I'm glad it worked out the way it did.
I have some both ways.
Okay, I wanted to do a shout out to Friendswood High School and their science department. I got an opportunity with several other volunteers to work with the high school students getting ready for their science fair competition. And I'm always so impressed with the youth in this town. And some of these kids getting prepared for science fair are just so smart and so dedicated. But if anybody ever wants to be a part of that, they accept volunteers. Just reach out to Rebecca Clark at the high school. It's a great opportunity, and it's always just, like I said, it blows my mind how smart these kids are and how hard they work. One other thing I wanted to mention, in January, it was another great event put on by Parks and Rec and Keep Friendswood Beautiful. We had our tree giveaway, gave away over 100 trees, and they went quick. People were lining up like 45 minutes, an hour ahead of when the tree giveaway started. And all 100 trees were given away. And again, back to Parks and Rec and Keep Friendswood Beautiful. It's another great Friendswood event. And I guess I don't want to be remiss and not thank FISD for letting us use their boardroom as well.
Councilmember Ross.
We'll start with thank you, FISD, for the loaner boardroom. It was very welcome to be able to continue our meetings. Second, apologize to my council and the community for missing the last meeting. I had some business to attend to, and it's done, so now I don't anticipate having to make those long trips anymore and be able to serve as I was elected to do. Last thing on my list is, if you are a parent of a child that is running around the streets of Friendswood with an electric bike, electric scooter, electric motorcycle, please be mindful that they do not know the rules of the road. It has been blatantly obvious since Christmas that the thing I was worried about in the council meeting prior to Christmas has come to fruition. And these children are not old enough to understand that the vehicle that doesn't see them is going to be the last thing on their mind. And I do not want that to ever happen in our community. So please talk to your children, teach them the rules of the road. They are absolutely treated the same as any other vehicle on the road. They do not have the right of way. They need to stop at all stop signs. They need to follow all the laws. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Thank you, FISD. Appreciate the use of the boardroom. And we are happy that we're back here at home in our own council chambers again. And it has turned out remarkably well. So hope you're all enjoying. You're the first people to sit in those chairs, by the way. So, item 6, public comment. To comply with the provisions of Texas Open Meetings Act, City Council may not deliberate any item not listed on the agenda as such. City Council will listen to public comment and may, 1, refer the item to city management for further action, or 2, direct staff to place an item on a future agenda during public comment. The public shall comply with the council's rules of decorum. Everyone desiring to present comments should have completed the public hearing comment card in the foyer and submitted it to the city secretary at the podium. Each participant shall give his or her name and address in order to provide a proper record. The rules allow each person 3 minutes to present information. However, I encourage everyone to be as brief and to the point as possible. All right, I got a stack here. So first person, Greg Fitzgerald.
I graduated in 1977, and my mother still is on Falling Leaf, 415 Falling Leaf Lane. And I'd like to honor Officer Yotis, but I'd like to press my history with the city. I have a brother, Sean, who landscaped on Ryan's home 4 years ago, and he has gotten office medicine. I actually spent 2.5 years in Galveston County Jail, which is humanity like no other. But in that time, Officer Yotis was in patrol and took care of him very kindly and compassionately. And for Sean, that was part of his grace. Yotises live not next to us if you're facing away from our house across the street to the Kessels, who Mrs. Joy Kessel was a teacher, a math teacher at FHS. The Yanceys live next door, and the Yotises live next door to that. I think his mother's name was Eileen, and I don't remember his father's name. He had a sister, Kathy. And I talked to a lady at Valero, now Circle K, named, well, I was talking to her, and I said, "What's your name?" She said, "Gabby." I said, "Gabby what?" She was Gabby Salas. I go, "Gabby Salas." She said, "That's Sergeant Gabby Salas." I was like, okay. But I went to high school with City Councilman Rafan. We both played basketball. I say we played basketball. I was on the team. I played basketball with Mark. He's now the principal. Angela was a cheerleader. I don't remember if she made homecoming queen. Probably did. She did. And this is probably make my eyes water. But I went to the FHS Les Mis, and it was exquisite. And it was in the new Dr. Kennedy Theater. It was phenomenal. And you'll remember this, your brother, JP, I think it was in 76, did George M. Yep. I think he was the lead in probably 2 or 3 plays. And passed very tragically 2 or 3 years later in a car accident. Yeah. But all the Refines had dimples. Mark was probably the only light-skinned one, but I can remember this distinct memory of JP in the halls. And he always had a crowd around him. And he was real slim. He was like this, just fully engaged and present. And you're looking at him and go, man, this dude's alive, man. And at the time, I was 16. And he goes, but he was just there. But Officer Yotis remained in patrol for 44 years. That was his purpose, to be in the community with citizens and people he grew up with. And like I said, he took care of my brother. So Officer Sella says, hey, man, yeah, I can believe this. I said, what's that? He remained in patrol for 44 years. He gave every single holiday and vacation day since the start of his career to police officers with children or police officers. I said, 44? I said, you know how long it took me to get Easter off with a fire? 15 years. I couldn't hardly get time with my kids when I was a single dad, nor Christmas or Thanksgiving. So I was sharing this with Officer Yotis. It was great. Officer Salas was pretty good herself. I said, what's that? She failed to qualify on the pistol range. He said, Officer Yotis, can you take me to the pistol range? Sure. He does this like this. Hey, she fired. Pull it after, pull it after, pull it till she qualified. So I've talked to a couple of the police officers here, and I said, you got some kind of shoes to fill, because that Officer Yotis and Sergeant Salas, rat asses.
Mr. Fitzgerald, thank you, sir. I got to ask you to wrap it up, but appreciate you. Okay, Wesley Stillwell.
Good evening. I'm Wesley Stillwell. I'm here with the Wedgewood Village HOA. And first of all, congratulations on your new place. Man, this is really nice. Really nice. I'm going to make it quick, though, just to kind of save some time. I'm here to talk to you about representing the just under 1,000 homes to speak to you today, and that's about the project coming up on Blackhawk. You know, we went with the phase one, and we had some issues with phase one over there on Blackhawk, and, you know, we were able to get that kind of buttoned up and get ready for phase two. And some of our homeowners have heard that maybe there's some kind of speculation or talk that Wedgewood Village would like to have a reprieve from construction before the next phase starts. And I'm here to let you know that we are absolutely against that. We would really like to move forward as rapidly as possible. If you can, in your comments up there before we got to speak, you said that you would forward concerns to city management, and I would request that you do that, that we try to get that next phase as soon as done, you know, get started as soon as possible. We're facing every single day the transitions from north to southbound are at different elevations. We're having to deal with that with our vehicles. We have spots on Blackhawk that, you know, we're looking at 6 to 8 inches of a bump on the road that you basically have to stop for in order to go over. But we'd like to get that addressed as soon as possible. We're not interested in, you know, giving us a reprieve from construction. We can take it. So I just appreciate that, and appreciate all you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Stillwell. I can guarantee you, we do not have to pass that to staff because staff is on it.
Okay.
They're working as hard as they can, as diligently as they can to get this project.
It's about the scheduling. I know that it's going to get done, but I'd like to get that done.
We all want it done as quickly as possible, so thank you for saying that. Kenneth Cruz.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Kenneth Cruz. I live at 710 Pin Oak Drive in the Forest of Friendswood. I come speaking in opposition to line item 11A, the proposed rezoning discussion. I say there's a lot of concern about that proposal. First off, I will go back and say about 15 plus years ago, there was a rezoning in the front of the Forest of Friendswood. Went from a residential zoning to a commercial zoning. There was a lot of statements made at that time, incorrect statements, promise statements that were never held true. And as a result, it affected it's changed their entrance into the Forest of Friendswood. Rightfully, we didn't own that, the Forest of Friendswood did not have ownership over that property, but it has affected the entrance into our neighborhood. It also put in commercial development that is around property that was surrounded by residential. Now, this property that is being talked about, currently zoned commercial or a form of commercial, is now being talked about being rezoned to residential or form of residential. And what I see is a path, at least along there, in those two cases, where we're patchworking rezoning to fit some developer's proposed bid, and it creates a hodgepodge of what is keeping neighborhoods and residential or commercial into commercial, and causes undue, I would say an undue image on the neighborhood or on the city because of how it's put together. Then you have the added traffic that you're going to have of a apartment complex. You're going to have potentially high school age kids, or any range of kids, but potentially high school kids that now will be walking across 2351 to get to their high school. That, right now, 2351 in the mornings and at this other part of the school zone, parents coming from other areas outside our city coming to pick up their kids don't always seem to follow the rules very well. They're more concentrated on picking up their kids at the time. So, and then lastly, I would say we already have 2 apartment complexes across the street from that area that, reading the police reports weekly, they seem to spend a lot of time at those 2 apartment complexes. And so it concerns me what we might be potentially bringing in. Thank you for the time and allowing me.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Michelle Conley.
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, good evening. I also wanted to speak about the same property that he was speaking of, some of the same concerns as well. I don't have children in school, but I'm concerned about overcrowding in the schools. I'm concerned about the traffic, not only on 2351, but also with the construction that's taking place on 528. I think there's a lot of traffic when we're trying to leave Friendswood, especially in the mornings, trying to get to our jobs on 528. There's a lot of traffic. The proposed apartment complex on 2351, I'm also concerned about. We don't have enough grocery stores in our small little town as it is, and the parking in the grocery stores is chaotic. The closest grocery store to that proposed location would be the small Friendswood Kroger. It's not equipped to handle a lot of people, a lot of parking. Just wanted to state my concerns that I'm against any large developments, no more concrete. Friendswood is not very much wood anymore. That's all. I'll keep it very short. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Conley. Mark Bessler.
Good evening, Council, Mayor. Mark Bessler, City of Friendswood resident, also a Garage Ultimate garage unit owner. I'd just like to tell you a little bit about my garage story. I moved back to Texas from Alaska in 2019, and my wife's family lived here for a while, and my wife's sister lived here. I thought I was going to get a nice big Friendswood 1-acre lot with a nice big garage. I got a hobby car, and that doesn't exist, or it's hard to find. So we ended up buying a house in West Ranch, big house on a small lot. Luckily, Garage Ultimate was being developed, and so I bought a unit over there. So as I reflect on that, part of the reason that I'm in this situation is because city leadership at some point in time decided to buy into that developer. West Ranch is big, right? But still, you got small lots, big houses, and not enough garage space. That's not what Friendswood's original 90-foot lot line and stuff is. That's not what residents want. I guess the other piece I'd like to offer is this is our land. They're not making any more of it. What is this developer offering to benefit the city of Friendswood? How about a bridge over 2351? How about a public accessible path to Frankie Carter Park? Something. They're offering nothing. It's all about money for them and nothing in it for the city of Friendswood and the residents of Friendswood. So I guess I would just ask for you to vote against 11A and an informal poll that I did on social media. Over 200 residents, 0 are for this development at this location. So I'd ask you to remember that and how you vote tonight, because we'll remember it at the next election, for sure. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bessler. Nick Deutsch.
I'm speaking to 11A as well. Do you prefer it during the public comment or when we address that item?
Your choice. If you want to speak during the public hearing, I can change the check mark that you.
Staff asked me to go ahead and speak also.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor, there's no public hearing, so this is the only.
Oh.
This
Okay,
is
well,
the time.
Yeah, we have a public hearing. It's on something else.
Thank you. My name is Nick Deutsch. Thank you. Oh, great, you're passing out. I've handed out some materials so that you have them in front of you. I'm the developer of Garage Ultimate. I'm also here on behalf of the Property Owners Association at Garage Ultimate, the garage owners, including Mr. Bessler, who you just heard from. We first came to Friendswood at the end of 2015 with the goal of bringing a first-class amenity to the city that would foster community, build relationships, and that was our promise. And over a decade later, we've exceeded even my expectations. It sounds like a lot of you are into cars. The 66 Mustang, I actually had a similar experience with the 66 Mustang. You still have it, that is great. I don't have mine. The squad car, even if you're not into cars, what we have built is truly a community. We've had 3 generations of Friendswood residents working on their classic Porsche. We've had people move from not being here for 30 years, move back to the town because they spent so much time at the garage. We've truly got a community. If you look at the first page of the packet, you'll see at the top right, there's kind of a sea of pink. That's the area, the panhandle that we're talking about. That's the industrial corridor. So this is, I know it's small, it's the future land use map. The pink indicates industrial zoning. So that's the block of industrial that we're talking about, taking the single track that is outlined in your packet and rezoning that single track out of that sea of pink into residential. The next item is actually the agenda packet for this agenda item. I'd like to note again, the future land use map is highlighted here. I think the city attorney prepared this, but it says the future land use map is a guide to direct land use decisions to meet the current and future community desire for development and redevelopment, and as part of the city's comprehensive plan, talks about it included Vision 2020 and the FM 528 plan. It was re-upped in 2021. So this is not stale. It's been recently redone. And what we're proposing is taking a single track out of that plan tonight and different. In fact, currently, the General Land Office has provided a grant to Friendswood, and we are underway looking at the comprehensive plan. That process has started. By the summer. We should have an update. And one of the things we're looking at is how are we going to treat the panhandle. We shouldn't usurp that process tonight by taking out a track and rezoning it now. I think we'll hear a bit about the noise. That was one of the concerns that was raised at the last council meeting. We've got ingress and egress to our property, and then we're using it for loud cars primarily, but industrial uses. We'll hear about a noise study. I had an opportunity to talk to the developer about it this week. They'll present it to you. Listen to the study. It proposes a math equation, not a study. This is the HUD guidebook, front and back page for the noise guidebook. This is a study to identify sources, identify the specific locations where they're coming from, calculate the distance that it's going to take to decrease those noises. Instead, they've assumed 70 decibels at the property line, and they undertake how are we going to decrease that to 58 by the time you get to our apartments. That's not a noise study, that's a math problem. The noise study is identifying the sources of those sounds and the location. I'll finish up really quickly. Lastly, in your packet, we've got a couple of there's been a lot of talk about the noise ordinances. I included the ordinance and the calculation for how we satisfy that ordinance in your packet. And then lastly is the public right-of-way and use agreement, indemnity agreement. That's the private drive agreement that we entered into for our access drive. The apartments plan to use that same drive. I talked to them, I confirmed this week without modification. On page 3 of this document, I've highlighted some section. It says BDC, that's the developer, must construct and maintain the entirety of the private facilities. I've agreed to maintain this road. We've agreed to maintain this road under the assumption that this was an industrial road for, it's infrastructure, it's site infrastructure. We did not agree to maintain this road for 390 apartments, for it to be egress for those 390 apartments. If the city envisions this level of infrastructure, we've got to follow the General Land Office grant and go through the process, and we can get the infrastructure. This is going to overburden our infrastructure. What is going to result in is nuisance claims against us and ultimately inverse takings claims against the city. It's not a good move right now. Let's go through the process. We're in that process already. Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Appreciate it. Connie Radiso?
I'm sorry, I'm slow. Thank you.
Hi, it's been a while. Mayor, City Council, my name is Connie Radiso, and I live at 5327 Apple Blossom. Before I talk about the 29 acres on 2351, I just want to encourage everyone to please go vote in the March primary. It's so important that we get the right people on the ballot in November. It's most important in our local and county elections, which we're having anyway. Also talking to you, Galveston County, when I say you can be neighborly and polite with someone on the ballot, but remember, when you walk into that voting booth, no one sees who you select but you. As far as the property on 2351, yes, we all know the traffic is already difficult getting in and out of Friendswood, practically any time of day. I'm not buying that there's only one car per residential unit. I'm not buying that some of the residents will work in the businesses and not take their car in and out. Businesses have customers and customers have cars. So there is going to be a lot of extra traffic, and that is going to be a concern. Also, I want to mention something someone else mentioned. I'm concerned about these new residents that have families, maybe a 14 to 18-year-old attending Clearbrook High School. Will CCISD provide transportation? Not likely. It's too close. Will they provide a paid crossing guard? Not likely. Will the students have to walk down to Black Hawk or back up to Hope Village to cross safely at the roads? This is most likely. But what about little Johnny who slept late? He's now grown up, he's attending high school, and he's going to take point A to point B to get to class. He's going to go through the traffic. You know it's going to happen. And when it does, who's going to remember who helped facilitate it? We already lost one CCISD boy crossing that street when he was riding his bike to go across to the park. I don't want to lose another one. So I'm concerned about the safety of our children. I'm concerned about flooding. Will they cut down all the trees? Will they raise the land to be even with that from the garage all the way up to Beamer? What was it, 5, 6, 8 feet of dirty dirt that they brought in from the old South Bend neighborhood. They dug it up for the retention ponds and moved it all over the panhandle. Are they going to raise this new property that high as well? You know, pastures naturally hold water. Some of the water's soaked in, some of it's drank up by the trees, some of it goes to low spots, and some of it goes down the creek. So if they get rid of all the trees, if they raise the land, If they cover it with concrete on that 29 acres, that's okay. The city's gonna get that water down to the creek. That's their job. They told us so. Then it falls on Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. Their job is to get it out of Friendswood and to keep it out of our homes. But there are some people in this city, maybe even in this room, that are fighting against GCCDD through social media and the likes of Wayne Delchafino. It's disgusting, but I digress. Please don't change the zoning. Keep it what it is. Keep it an industrial zoning. Thank you.
Kevin Thomas.
Hi there, I'm Kevin Thomas. Thanks for letting me speak tonight. I am a Garage Ultimate owner as well. When Nick came up with this wonderful idea to put in a garage, he thought Friendswood would be a great location. He followed the rules. He went and found the perfect spot of land that was zoned for what he needed. These new developers, as far as I know, don't live in Friendswood. They found the cheapest piece of land they could find because it was marked industrial. If they really wanted to do with their project, I'm sure there's some land in Friendswood that's already zoned that they want to do, that they could do. But they didn't do that because this land, I assume, was cheaper. And now they're asking y'all to bail them out because they've already paid for it. I just think that's a terrible idea. That's all I got. I'll be quick, but thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Thomas. Okay, moving forward, we got item 7, work session topic, receive and discuss the engineering department's quarterly drainage update. Mara. CB, good to see you again.
Good to see you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Mara Blackburn. I'm a graduate engineer, and I will be giving you the drainage update for this month. Our first project will be the utility relocate at Clear Creek, located in Polly Ranch. Crews are actively performing open cut installation of the main pipe on the Galveston County side. This work is focused on preparing the 24, give me one second. This work is focused on preparing the system for final tie-ins, ensuring proper alignment and connection points for the overall network. 8-inch and 24-inch bore installations have been successfully completed. Bridge demolition is scheduled as the next major phase, clearing the way for subsequent infrastructure improvements. Final tie-ins to the Blackhawk wastewater treatment plant will follow, marking a critical step towards system integration and operational readiness.
Or is that project still scheduled for completion this year?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Next is the Deepwood flood control. Oh, sorry. Hold on. Down. Not that one. You could skip that one. That one's completed. Yeah, sorry. Okay, next is the Friendswood Regional Stormwater Detention Basin. The project team is moving forward with the dry bottom detention basin option. This alternative was selected because it avoids impacts to wetlands and identified archaeological areas, reducing permitting risks and environmental concerns. The proposed basin would provide slightly more than 730 acre-feet of detention capacity, meeting project flood mitigation objectives. Rough grading for the project has been completed, establishing the site's overall elevations and preparing it for final design and construction phases. Harris County Flood Control District is expected to complete the 50% design review this month, which will guide final design refinements and next phase coordination. Okay. Following project, this Friendswood City Center detention ponds. Excavation for both detention ponds is substantially complete, marking a major milestone in site development and storage capacity preparation. Bridge construction will commence in the near term. Construction of the outfall into Harris County Flood Control District ditch is scheduled, providing the necessary discharge connection for the detention system. Construction of the bulkhead along the north end of the Pond 1, shown in green, will proceed to support structural stability and final pond configuration. Our next update is the Whitcomb Terracing and Stormwater Detention Basin project. This one is the one located adjacent to City Center Detention Basin. The project team is reviewing 2 potential terracing alternatives to optimize site performance and constructability. Final hydraulic and hydrologic modeling is underway for the proposed alternatives to evaluate impacts and confirm design criteria. The Cultural Resources Report has been submitted to the Texas Historical Commission, supporting regulatory compliance and permitting efforts. The environmental site assessment has been completed. The Threatening and Endangered Species Report has been finalized, addressing environmental compliance requirements. Existing conditions modeling has been completed and serves as the baseline for evaluating proposed alternatives. Selection of the preferred alternative will be based on results of the final modeling. And final design efforts will proceed following selection of the alternative incorporating modeling outcomes. Finally is the comprehensive master drainage plan. A review of the alternative analysis is underway, focusing on performance, feasibility, and risk considerations. Development of the draft report is continuing, incorporating results from modeling, risk assessment, and identified problem areas. Initial modeling and risk assessment has been completed, providing technical foundation for evaluating alternatives. Key problem areas have been identified, helping to prioritize solutions and guide further analysis. The second public engagement meeting is scheduled for February 12th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at the Friendswood Activity Building. Okay. This is a summary of the 2019 bond leverage amounts. The city has effectively leveraged 2019 bond funds to significantly expand the scale and impact of its flood mitigation and drainage projects through partnerships and grant funding. A total of $41 million in the 2019 bond funds has been invested across multiple projects. These bond funds have leveraged approximately $79 million in partnership and grant funding from local, state, and federal partners. Combined, this results in a total program investment of approximately $120 million, nearly tripling the city's original bond contribution.
So Mayor and Council, you may recall when we were having the discussion about the 2019 bonds, we were asking the citizens to support seed dollars for future projects that we would leverage with other agencies. And engineering has been very successful in that regard. And thank you for your continued leadership and support on that.
I think at the time we were talking about if we could get twice the value of our bond in projects, we'd be doing really well. To get 3 times that amount, you guys are superstars, and the city's a lot better off for this $120 million. It's basically been invested to
Thank you.
improve our flooding and drainage here, so.
Thank you.
Kudos.
Very good job.
Mara, I I want to thank you and Hill both and city staff because I'm seeing now that it's codified in the list. The Bay Area Regional Flood Control Project is adjacent to Black Hawk wastewater treatment plant in the Friendswood Cove, Autumn Creek. I have talked to so many engineers and so many people are really keen on that project because it could lower some of the impact and mitigate for probably more than a foot of water, and that would save a lot of homes. So I'm glad to see that we have that codified now. That is a project, and I would really love to see that move forward. Thank you and Hill both for pushing on that.
Thank you.
So Councilmember Griffon, you may recall a lot of these dollars were leveraged with the state due to our multi-jurisdictional partnership with Galveston County, Harris County Flood Control District, and the Drainage District.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good.
I have one small part.
I apologize for.
Okay, that's okay. Bond leverage impact, every dollar of bond funding leveraged 1.94, approximately 1.94, $1.94 in outside funding. Strong partnerships with Harris County Flood Control District, Texas Water Development Board, GCCDD, state and federal grant programs, and private developers. Funding supports regional detention flood control projects, watershed studies, buyouts, and utility improvements. Okay. These are the locations of such investment from the these are the locations in yellow from the projects that were mentioned in the previous slide. And this concludes my presentation. Any questions?
Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Very good, very good.
All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 8, request to vacate a sanitary sewer easement within the Friendswood City Center subdivision. It is 6:49, Raquel. I now call to order this public hearing concerning a request to vacate a 20-foot sanitary sewer easement traversing lots addressed as 3727, 3723, 3715, 3711 East FM 528 Road and 18001 Blackhawk Boulevard, properties also located within the Friendswood City Center subdivision final plat, said easement being an approximate .706 acre tract of land dedicated by separate instrument as evidenced by HCCF RP 2020-59908 in Friendswood, Harris County, Texas. Aubrey, you gonna give us an overview?
Yes, sir. So this is an existing easement that was dedicated for a public sewer line, and it is impeding future landscaping for the Friendswood City Center. So this is a request to vacate the easement. The line is being relocated to the middle of the driveways, all those properties, and so they will dedicate a new easement for that line. And so just for this public process to vacate this, required notices were sent, and the Planning and Zoning Commission held their public hearing on January 8th and has forwarded a positive recommendation.
Okay, thank you. I don't have any cards for this, so there being no one desiring to speak on this item, I now close this public hearing regarding the vacation of a 20-foot sanitary sewer easement. Move on to item 8B. Consider an ordinance to vacate a 20-foot sanitary sewer easement traversing lots addressed as 3727, 3723, 3715, 3711 East FM 528 Road and 18001 Blackhawk Boulevard, properties also located within the Friendswood City Center subdivision final plat, said easement being an approximate .706 acre tract of dedicated by separate instrument as evidenced by HCCF RP 2020-59908, Friendswood, Harris County, Texas.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, discussion?
Murad, I have a question for you. When is the effective date of the abandonment? If we don't have the other easement in place, we will have...
This quitclaim deed will be recorded probably this week. We have to do acceptance of, the city has to accept the new sewer line. So before we come to y'all for acceptance, we'll ensure that the new easement's recorded. We've been in contact with the engineer on the project already.
Shouldn't we abandon it after we get the new one in place? Seems,
So they're allowed to install infrastructure on private property, much like a subdivision does. And at the time that the public infrastructure has been accepted, that's when the easement and/or the plat is recorded, and the city takes ownership of the facility. So the dedication of the easement after the installation of the line is typical for any project.
I get it, but we'll have a line that basically has no easement, and we have no rights to it unless we have a separate agreement with them during the time that we don't have a functioning line.
And without the functioning line, they won't get a certificate of occupancy for any of their structures, nor a building permit, so.
We also-
Approval of plat?
Nor approval of plat, yeah.
Oh, I get they're gonna put it in and get it approved. I'm just worried we've got an easement that doesn't exist anymore, and we've got functioning city lines in it, so.
Is there a line underneath this current location?
No.
Okay, so this was just okay, that would have simplified and
Correct.
clarified that.
So there was an early recordation of this plat to get certain things moving forward, but there's not a sewer line.
Okay, perfect. That, I forgot to ask that on Monday.
I did have one more question. Are you done? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just for the record, by giving up this routing and we will accept in the future the other routing, we're not giving up any sort of future capacity of this sewer system and line. It's just literally a relocation. Okay, just confirming that.
Yeah, this is just paperwork. Perfect.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. All right, on to item 9, City Manager Murad Kabiri. You do the rest of your report now.
Yes, sir, and my apologies for the Officer Yoda slide. I had completed one, but for whatever reason, I didn't save it, so that's on me. Hopefully, he's no longer an officer, so he can't give me a ticket on the way home. First up, I'd like to announce the upcoming Daddy-Daughter Dance, Saturday, February 21st. This is a great opportunity for fathers throughout the community to take your daughter of any age and have a wonderful date night with them, courtesy of our Parks and Recreation Department. It's a fantastic event that's very well attended. Tickets are usually sold out fairly quickly, so if you haven't gotten one yet, I'm sorry. So maybe next year. But it's a fantastic event. Thank you to Parks and Recreation for hosting. This next item was discussed at the Planning and Zoning Commission as just a topic of conversation last month. It won't come before council until the March City Council meeting. But in short, state law allows for cities to approve site plans at the staff level as well as certain plats. Doing so would allow the greater efficiency in processing development applications. For instance, when an applicant submits a site plan for commercial site plan for the city's approval, once staff has completed their review, they have to wait for an agenda, upcoming Planning and Zoning Commission agenda, in order for that item to be considered. So staff is looking at ways to expedite applications throughout the city on the development side of things, as well as remove potential controversial subjects for the Planning and Zoning Commission. For instance, items that are already permitted by the ordinance that the commission doesn't have the right to deny. We don't want to necessarily put that on the agenda and give a false set of expectations for residents. But without getting too much in the detail, I wanted you to have some visibility on this. It's going to come back to City Council in March, and there will be a public hearing, and you will have an official recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission related to this. The next item, I want to recognize our Director of Engineering and City Engineer Hill Arias. He was recently inducted to the Society of American Military Engineers Board of Directors. This is for a 3-year term that will start in 2026. This association started in 2016, and it's intended to foster engineering leadership throughout the country. So thank you for Hill for stepping up and serving in this regard. Another bit of accolades, our Deputy Director of Community Development, Brian Rowan, has recently achieved the ICC certification as a Master Code Professional. This is sort of like a black belt in karate, but for for building codes. So as such, he will have the opportunity and has already demonstrated the wherewithal to review all the standards associated with International Code Council. So we applaud Brian for his years of studying and efforts related to achieving this certification. There's only 1,000 of these worldwide, so great job, Brian. Another bit of accolades, our library recently was notified of achieving the Library Excellence Award from the Texas Municipal Library Directors Association. This is the 12th consecutive year. I very rarely type out the word 12th, so I didn't know if that spelling was correct, but I figured folks at the library would correct me if I'm wrong. Great job to Karen and her group for their excellent service to our community. Keep it up. And we've already discussed Sergeant Cordero and Officer Barry Yotis, both fine, outstanding gentlemen, and thank you. Very grateful for their service.
Thank you. All right, moving on. Item 10, business items. 10A, consider approving a 3-year contract with Friendswood Chamber of Commerce for Economic Development Services. Stephen? Deputy City Manager Stephen Ray.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The item here before you is the updated version of the contract with the Chamber of Commerce for the services that they provide to the city of Friendswood. This is a change from previous versions. The Chamber has come back and allowed and asked, not allowed, but has asked for a 3-year term for $8,000 per year, along with some tickets to events free of charge, along for council and staff members. This is a difference from the previous version, which was $20,000 a year for the 3-year term that just ended. I do believe the chamber is here if you would have any questions for them. And with that, I'll answer anything you have.
I don't have any questions, but I would like to thank Pastor Lorenz, who's just the incoming chairman, of the Chamber of Commerce Board. Volunteer, of course, yes. And thank you for negotiating with the city on this. Doesn't sound like a lot of money to a lot of people, probably. Difference between $20,000 and $8,000 means a lot to us. That's $12,000. We don't have a year. And you can talk to our budget people up here if you want. Ask them if they like having $12,000, you know, and it means a lot. So I appreciate it, Pastor, really. Any questions? Councilmember Ross.
I believe 2 council meetings ago, we kind of asked for not only, you know, what is this money for, how much or why are we paying it, but what is this money utilized for? Did we get any metrics as to, you know, I've talked to a few of the business members around the community. I was like, you know, so when the chamber does have these events, maybe more specifically parade, participation, like the car show, you know, do you see any uptick in business? Is there any visible metric? So that's one of the things I was concerned with, regardless of how much it's been reduced. Are we still getting bang for the buck, and are we tracking it?
Yes, sir.
Pastor Lorenz, would you like to say a few words?
Bow your head.
I get paid to talk, so it's, to answer your question, to identify it very much in dollars and cents is probably challenging. But this past year, we hosted 88 different events. Everything from training business leaders, educating nonprofits to help them. Obviously, we did 39 ribbon cuttings to help promote businesses across our community, as well as highlight them on social media, those kinds of things. Obviously, when we have a big event that we sponsor, Christmas Lighted Parade, which is the Chamber's event, Halloween in the Park, as well as the Car and Bike Show in conjunction with the Farmers Market, that brings people into the community and helps them. And so I would say to give you a number would be very challenging, but there are lots of businesses that are connected on our board. Our 3 banks, a cleaning company, a pool company, health and medical, wellness, as well as a restoration company. So kind of covers the gamut of community businesses in that. And I would argue I'm a nonprofit. So I lead a nonprofit, And we have over 30 nonprofits in the chamber as well, and we try to educate and equip them also. And so it's more than just dollars and cents. It's really about building community, advocating for businesses, and helping just be a resource for businesses, nonprofits, and our citizens. So I don't know that I answered your question. I just gave you a little overview.
And I was reviewing, Murad provided me with a budget that was 2020, 2021, 2022. I haven't seen your more current budgets, but I could see what you're talking about, the intangible nature of it, because you have these events. You're doing a great job on when you have fundraisers, you know, going almost 2 to 1 on the amount of money you raise versus how much you spend. So I can see you guys are very fiscally responsible. I was just looking for some tangible version of it. And I've talked to some of the business community, and they're going to go try to track down some data, and then it's like push it back over to the chamber so that the chamber will have that data, because they have that via their swipes on their credit card machines, and it'll show by zip code who's buying what where and how much extra business we're getting.
So, Councilmember Ross, I was at that meeting 2 times ago, standing in the back. My blood pressure probably was elevated that day based on the discussion because I was there. But it did prompt us, the board, the chamber board, prompt us to do exactly what you're saying, to be a little more intentional about how we measure some of these things, and can we get some detail from business owners and our nonprofits about the impact that our efforts are making.
Awesome. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Pastor Lorenz, your total membership is I think 390?
So that's a moving number. I say 361.
Okay.
That's what I say. It's
And
361
those are
currently.
folks that are either in Friendswood or do business in Friendswood.
Correct. Yeah, we actually have a number of businesses just beyond the Friendswood border that are a part of the Friendswood Chamber because many of their customers are from Friendswood.
Other questions, comments? Can I get a motion on this?
I move that we approve the 3-year contract.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? 6-0. 10B, consider authorizing a joint participation interlocal agreement with Harris County for the design and construction of a new traffic signal at the intersection of Grissom Road and Bay Area Boulevard. Engineering Director Hill Audius.
Yeah, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a interlocal agreement with Harris County. You may recall about 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago, we got were awarded a partnership program project through Adrian Garcia's precinct to his office. This was a application that the city submitted for Harris County to partner up with us to install a traffic signal at Grissom on Bay Area Boulevard. In accordance with this interlocal agreement, the Harris County Engineering would take on the design and construction of this traffic signal, and when it's completed, it will be taken care of by Harris County. One other key thing about this is League City is going to help us out with half of our half, so we'll be just participating with 25%. The reason the agreement is just between Harris County and the city is Harris County has a requirement that in order to be a partner with them, you have to have elevated, meet all their flood control requirements and have elevated or rules. And we've met that. League City, at the time when we did the application, they did not, so it went through us specifically. So any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer that.
And that traffic signal's going in because we know that intersection's resulted in some traffic accidents.
Right. So we had some traffic accidents at that intersection. They were they could have been avoided with a stop sign, and so we have put in a 3-way stop, and it helped alleviate the situation. Normally, that's might be where you might be able to stop, but in conjunction with us putting in a stop sign, League City performed a traffic impact analysis, knowing what kind of growth that we're going to have in that area. We're seeing the growth of the midline. So we are going to see a increase of traffic at that intersection. That's not our traffic, that's League City. And that's part of the reason why they're being a willing partner in this.
So you're getting at one of the questions I had is how much of the current traffic is generated by Lake City and how much of the future traffic is generated by Lake City? Because I'm worried about their participation in this being light, considering we don't even have a neighborhood that ties directly into this. It's just a transitory stop signal on the way to League City.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly how much is Friendswood traffic, but I can venture to guess that there's probably a healthy portion that's from League City as well. So
The property underneath that intersection is Friendswood property, correct?
that's correct, yes.
So that's the difficulty. There's no obligation for League City to participate with us. And so if we were to say, hey, this is solely your responsibility and your issue, they don't have to do anything, and we're going to see the impacts from a traffic perspective on Bay Area Boulevard, our facility. So we were thankful for them to stepping up and partnering with us. We can always push back and say, hey, we need a greater participation, but there's no guarantee that they'll participate at all if we don't.
I'm concerned with these quick, dirty handshake deals from a standpoint of we're not doing the study to say, you're the one that's impacting this. Why aren't you paying for it? As a developer, I get to go through that every time I produce a traffic impact analysis, and I'm responsible for the traffic signals and streets and everything else associated with my impact. And in this particular case, it doesn't sound like we have a traffic impact analysis on the intersection, not only for its current use, but for the impact of Midline and the school district's property to the north, which would be a location where a lot of people probably coming from that part of League City get to the school district. I imagine that's what's causing some of this impact. So again, I'd like to revisit it with League City from a standpoint of what their real responsibility is. I mean, if they want, we can deed over that little section of the intersection to them, because if you go look at how it's drawn up, we're teeing into their property with that. So their residents are the ones that are coming to it.
So we can definitely abdicate that piece of that intersection to League City, but it won't resolve the traffic on our property. So their traffic knows no jurisdictional boundaries. There's no legal requirement for League City to participate at all in this project. Staff was fairly optimistic that since they were willing to split the 50% with us, meaning our share would only be 25%, that it was a win-win-win for the city of Friendswood. We can push back and say because the traffic's generated in League City, we want more, but there's no requirement, no low leverage on our part to require them to participate at a greater rate.
So later in this meeting, we're going to have that same discussion about how League City, with their population, tends to push people around. And I think we need to be very mindful when we're entering these agreements that they're paying their fair share of these agreements. I appreciate your time on that.
Councilmember Matranga.
I guess I see it a little differently. I wouldn't call this a dirty deal under any circumstance. And with my dealings with League City, I haven't seen them push us around at all, but different perspectives. Now, the properties along Bay Area are Autumn Creek and the other next, I can't remember the other name, next to closer to the Grissom intersection. Those are all Friendswood residents, correct?
Correct. Friendswood Oaks.
I can guarantee as a resident of West Ranch, I use that part of Bay Area and that intersection a lot, rather than coming down 528 and then 518 to get to West Ranch. And I think many people in the largest subdivision in Friendswood, West Ranch, I think a lot of other people come that way as well. So that's a different perspective.
Let me just understand the split now. League City's going to pay 50% of our 50%, where we're paying 25%, League City's paying 75%?
So,
Oh, Harris County, okay, got it. Okay, yeah, all right, so I'm good.
So what are we, 200 some odd $1,000?
a little above that. So the traffic signal is 600,000.
Right. They've been coming in. We originally had submitted an application for $500,000, and Harris County told us that unfortunately, due to inflation and all the other factors, they're starting to come in a little bit higher, and they told us 600,000 now. So
No, it's sole sourcing. There's only one or two companies in the entire U.S. that produce these the light signals. So, yes, I'm budgeting 600,000 on mine.
Anybody else? Any more questions? All right, thanks, Hill. Can I get a motion on this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second.
Before we go forward, if we could condition this upon League Cities, we're going to go back to League City in June of 2024. We entered into an interlocal with League City to split, and we at that point said the 25% and said that that was $150,000 because of increase in cost. We've gone back and we've sent them an amendment to that interlocal. Hope to have that to you next time. But if you could condition your friendly amendment and condition your approval on receipt of that updated MOU from League City.
So 120 and half of them, we're about 160? 167, okay. You want to amend your motion?
I'll amend my motion per your comments.
I'll second the motion as amended.
I got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? 5-1. Item 10C, consider authorizing an interlocal agreement with the City of League City regarding cost sharing for the development of a flood mitigation plan for Lower Clear Creek and Dickinson Bayou. Hill, you on this one?
So this is another interlocal agreement with one of our regional partners. This is for the continuation of the Lower Clear Creek and Dickinson Bayou watershed study that they did a couple of years ago. We had some projects that came as a result of that. The Friendswood Regional, the 1959 project, was one such project that was in the original report, and because it was in the original report, that helped us get it through with the Harris County Flood Control District to make that a priority project. This is a continuation of that effort. It'll be done in accordance with Section 203 requirements of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. What Section 203 is basically it just outlines how a local entity would do a study in accordance with how the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers would do it. So it helps fast track the study. So this agreement with them is for $1.25 million, and that is the maximum amount the city would participate in. Similar to the way we did it before, there were additional partners that came on board, and this would be lowered. Our participation would be lowered depending on the number of partners that come on board as well.
All right. Any questions, comments?
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Ross.
Is this just a riverine study, or does it also take into account the bay backing back up into Friendswood in a Harvey-esque event?
I would not be able to answer that. I haven't seen the scope of that. That's one of the things that they'll be providing to us, but the largest portion of it is going to be riverine.
So they're going to model, develop the model and calibrate it against Harvey, as well as all the other more recent storms to verify its authenticity and accuracy. And so it will account for storm surge, but we will, one of the comments that we had in the agreement is that we have to sign off on the scope.
Okay. So just to be clear, our portion is 1.125 million, but in the agreement, our real obligation is 109,000, if I remember correctly.
So this partnership is broken up amongst 4 entities. It's a $5 million project. Harris County Flood Control is picking up 1.25 million. Galveston County is picking up 1.25 million, and then League City and Friendswood each are as well. As additional partners come on board, both League City and Friendswood will be reimbursed. Both Galveston County and Harris County Flood Control District will remain at the $1.25 million. This effort is intended to secure ultimately federal funds and someday in the future. Hill referred to it when he was talking about Section 203 and the Army Corps of Engineers procedures. You may recall the Army Corps of Engineers did participate with us in the first phase of this effort. This is a continuation of that.
So, and I looked at the agreement that League City made with Freeze and Nichols, and it was an allocation based on effectively drainage area. So what are the odds we're going to get other participants? I saw Pearland had a significant component of this. You know, what are the odds Pearland wants to pay money into this? Because, you know, as far as they're concerned, the water's already made it downhill.
So Pearland experienced just roughly the same amount of flooding as Friendswood did, so they're just as eager as we are to continue this effort. They did get some federally authorized funds in 2018 following Harvey in 2017, but their project isn't over. The projects they're doing, much like us, are incremental in nature, so they will participate. They've even indicated to Galveston County as recently as this past week that they're going to participate. We just don't have it.
Yeah, I mean, you could see my concern here is if people don't have the money, we're a small town. We contribute a very small amount to the drainage in this area, specifically Dickinson Bayou. Really, we have a very small portion of the actual drainage in there. And I feel like us fronting the money until everybody else jumps on board, although I appreciate the fact that you've been able to leverage the dollar in multiple other projects, and you've seen this in the past where people don't participate, especially at the level we anticipate, I don't think Friendswood should have to bear that burden of that cost. Now, maybe you can find a way to get Galveston County to pick it up in a future bond or something like that, but, you know, I would anticipate, based on this study, the participants will also be the same people that are obligated in the future in another agreement on if we do construction.
So this agreement's limited solely to
Yep, I get that.
this, and so we are tripling our contributions. So we're paying a quarter of the total cost here. We're not obligated to do a future phase of this. However, I would recommend doing a future phase. In fact, had we done this in 1998, we likely wouldn't have experienced Tropical Storm Allison to the magnitude that we did, nor Hurricane Harvey to the magnitude that we did. This is intended, whether we can get the future partners or not, to go ahead and try to solve this this drainage issue that exists in this region. So I understand your concern. Unfortunately, we can't, much like the previous item, we can't force other partners to the table. I applaud staff's effort for picking this up at only a quarter of the cost. It's 3-to-1 match. If we choose not to do this, obviously, they can try to find another partner, but I wouldn't recommend that from staff's perspective.
I think, you know, sitting here and quibbling about what's our fair share for this project, what's our fair share for that project, hey, you can talk about that stuff all day, the projects never get done. So, you know, whether you may think that 1 1/4 is worth it to us, I say let's get this project done. And yeah, it would be great if Pearland, Dickinson, and some other entities come in and put some money in this, and we'll get rebated that, but our share, because we are, I agree, we're paying in more than our cost share, but we want to get the project done, Michael. I mean, we want to get this stuff going, and we have the funding available to do this. These other partners are coming in. So I'm not going to sit here and just say, hey, what's the fair share? Should we be 25%? Should we be 19.5%? Let's just go forward, get the project done, because, you know, that's saving water from coming into homes in Friendswood. So that's my 2 cents on it.
Mayor, I had one question, if I may.
Yes, sir. Councilman?
I just want to make sure I heard you correctly. If in this plan, we really feel like getting this plan completed then sets us up for federal dollars later, or outside of Friendswood or outside of region dollars for later. Is that correct? That's the whole purpose of really starting out the plan. 1, to get started, as the mayor said, and 2, to set us up for it be requirement for future dollars.
That is correct. So the federal government is very deliberate and intentional in the way they prescribe projects, the environmental clearances that need to be met, and the procedures by which you follow in order to do these studies. And so by us participating in these studies, we're allowing for the opportunity of future federal authorization to complete a large-scale study. If we fail to do this, the feds won't participate, and then we're left solely with just whatever local partnerships we can identify.
We're playing the long game here, really. It's just like the federal study or federal project that is ongoing in Pearland. We've been talking about it for a while now, and like Mo said, it's a very meticulous process, and this is just step one for the entire project here.
Thank you. Hill, I'd just like to say I've been very blessed and privileged to serve on this dais for 8 years or so, and liaison to the Clear Lake Watershed Steering Committee and chair for the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee, and also liaison to the Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District. So I've seen all these plans. I remember the very first one, the Bedient study, Rice University Bedient study. I also remember the first Fraser and Nichols study that we paid $40,000 into it, I believe. And I also know that League City went on and did another study for League City on the Lower Clear Creek, on the Lower Clear Creek watershed. And I also am in all these other meetings, now Baytran with Joe, and I see what all these people are doing, and it's almost always the same story. We're trying to get these studies done so that we can qualify for federal dollars. And I know that the water programs out there, the Congress is trying to get push dollars down here. That's the big dollars. That's where the big money comes from. And I'm going to support this, but I would like to see better coordination between Harris County Flood Control District, DD4, Brazoria County DD4, Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District, League Cities, entire city on their lower studies and everything. This is the third Friesen Nichols study now. And I do recall all the graphs with Harvey included in it, coming down the watershed. We saw exactly where it was. It even helped us with the Harold Whitaker detention basin, determining how that terracing would work. So I know these studies work, but I just don't see the coordination between the groups to all coordinate together. I'd love to see us all work together so that we can all qualify for the 203 and everybody get on the same page, because not everybody's on the same page. It's wonderful to have all these stakeholders at the Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee meeting, and it's wonderful to have all the stakeholders at Baytran, and then you get the San Jacinto River studies, and all those people are coming in. They got projects. They're taking it to their congressmen. The congressmen are trying to get water bills passed, and it just seems like we study this stuff to death, and I want to move dirt, and I'd love to see us all somehow pull together and let's all get together. 1.25 million, that's fine. I'd like to see Galveston County Consolidated Drainage District step in with us. They always have in the past. I would like to see Brazoria County DD4 step in with us. They're right here. They have the money. And Galveston County did just pass drainage bond dollars, and I'm probably pretty sure that's where this 1.25 million is coming from. But we really need to somehow pull these studies together, get it collated or inculcated into our master drainage plan, and all these comprehensive plans that everybody's trying to do the same thing, and let's all do it at the same time together instead of, oh, this is my turf, I'm gonna do our little study and we're gonna be able to qualify for grant money. Wake up. That's what we're all trying to do. So it just, I've watched it for so long, and I don't know if I'm getting jaded or not, but I would love to see everybody say, hey, let's all do this together, split it up, herd up the cats. I don't even know how you'd herd up all the cats, but you herd up all the cats and say, let's put down the hissing and let's just get this qualified for, especially with the Corps of Engineers, and get the study done and be done with it, and let's get some projects going. It's 8 years, and people, I remember the floods. I don't ever want to see anybody's house flood again. I just want to see us get it done.
So Councilmember Griffon, your comments aren't lost on staff. The
Oh,
Clear
y'all are
Creek,
doing great.
Clear Creek has been studied since 1968.
Right.
And unfortunately, there was an identified project that was going to be completed by the Corps of Engineers in 1998. And unfortunately, folks downstream of us and those in Friendswood opposed it. And the project has then went back to the drawing board to be studied ad nauseum. We have met, you have led those Clear Creek Watershed Steering Committee meetings. Those participants are in the room. They're welcome to participate, but there is no mechanism by which we can force those other agencies to participate. So we've heard the residents loud and clear in 2019. They said, here's some leverage, here's some dollars that you need to go out there and leverage, and that's what staff has done. To the extent we can get partners to join us, we will gladly welcome them aboard, but we can't force them.
Totally agree. It's all our tax dollars.
Yes, sir.
I've got my tax dollars that are going over the drainage district. My tax dollars are coming here. It's all our tax dollars, kids, and we gotta spend it wisely, because we just can't keep going back to the till and saying, hey, we want more money, and we've showed them what Friendswood can do. We leverage $40 million for $120 million worth of projects, and that's with our partners. And I'm so thankful to God for our partners, because we couldn't have done what we've done in the last 8 years without them. So. I'll get off my horse here and calm down, but that was just what I wanted to say. We need to get it together.
All right. Can I get a motion on this?
Just one more.
Okay.
Sorry. We had talked about this the other day, and it's just to Robert's point. You know, as a group, as citizens, we need to demand that we create an organization that's very much like Harris County Flood Control to be the lead agency on this. If we had a Galveston County Flood Control, whatever it was, just one lead agency that could drive the bus without having to get us, as Robert said, herd all the cats, I think we'd be a lot better off. And you and I have agreed on that. Every commissioner in the county I've talked to has agreed on that. So, you know, it's time for us to stop talking about it and start having some meetings on how to do it. So.
The next legislative session's coming up in 2027. That
Yep.
would be a fantastic opportunity to have that discussion with our state reps.
Thank you, Mo.
All right, motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Opposed? 5-1. 10D, consider a Chapter 380 Economic Development Agreement with Sterling Estates LLC for the installation of public infrastructure related to residential infill purposes. Mr. Adam Hill, I see you out there. Oh, Janice Lowe, I see you too. You don't have to come up. Stephen's got you. I just wanted to point you out, sir. Thanks for being here.
Good evening again, Mayor and Council. The item before you here, just for the nuts and bolts of it, the city is looking to enter into a Chapter 380 agreement to get a water line installed along Briar Meadow. It is about 1,300 linear feet. The grand total for the installation being $492,536, I believe. A little bit of the history here is this is the old Klein site that FISD has sold, where there will be a new residential subdivision. The subdivision itself does not necessarily require any upgrade in the water lines up in front of the property. Once the city started looking, staff started looking at the plans, it was determined that it would be beneficial if we could go ahead and upsize the line. Being that this developer does not necessarily have to do any infrastructure work along Briar Meadow, we're looking to go ahead and fund the line in its totality, both to help out with water pressures in the area, along with the city's distribution system in the area.
Stephen, is it a 4-inch, 6-inch, or 8-inch water line right now?
It's a 6.
6, okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, we're going to 8?
Going to a 12.
12, okay.
From Sunset all the way down Briar Meadow to Winding.
You have a map of it?
I do not, sir.
We can, here, I can open up an aerial and show you the limits on my screen. Just give me.
It's the limits from the intersection of Sunset and Briar Meadow, down Briar Meadow all the way to Winding Way, down by past the entrance to Old City Park.
Councilmember Matranga.
While he's looking up the drawing, make use of the time. So just want to make sure I understand this properly. So the developer does not have, he can keep the same size line and supply his new development, their new development. However, this is probably, sounds like the most efficient time, since they're in that area, working in that area, to go ahead and upsize that line now, which then benefits the south end of Friendswood, correct?
Yes, sir. As you're all very aware, our crews we constantly as a city chase infrastructure no matter what that infrastructure is. Being that there's already going to be a disturbance here in the neighborhood for the construction, already will be mobilized out here. And that, and plus the partner in this agreement is someone, or is a company that has done this type of work many, many times and had agreements with the city in the past that have turned out well.
So you may recall we did a similar agreement in the Panhandle for an extension of a water line down Beamer Road. We've partnered with this particular developer on detention and other infrastructure projects over in Sterling Creek, so this is not unusual for us in this regard.
And we've swapped land and that sort of thing.
We've swapped land, yes. And if he screws up, we know where he lives, so we can go find him.
So the dollar amount that's in here today, has that been publicly bid, or is that a private contract?
So it's been bid privately. The way the 380 works is it doesn't have to be publicly bid.
So we're doing another agreement where we're not publicly bidding public infrastructure for the city.
It's no different from a residential project that's bid and built privately and then turned over to the city. Now, you can ask that. I can't guarantee that it'll come in less than.
I've got a bid tab from my project just down the road for a very similar water line, almost identical, for about half the cost. That's why I ask these questions. Because the dollar figure associated with this water line, and I was asking the question about where it's located specifically, is sometimes when you're having to bore and do all these things, it gets really expensive. I get that. But this can be open trench from what I just saw, especially during the course of the development. Why are we overpaying for this?
Just real quick, this is on the opposite side of the Klein property from Briar Meadow, or on Briar Meadow, and they will
be able to open trench it.
They will have to bore under numerous residential driveways that back up.
Or repave them.
So as you well know, bids are a function of quantities, so it depends on the size of the subdivision you're building. I don't know what.
It's exactly the same. I mean, I'm a little smaller.
So you're putting in a residential subdivision of
Yep.
smaller than this section?
Yes, it's just a little extension of a 12-inch water line that I had to add after the fact. So.
Mayor, can I ask the question? Yes, sir. Just to say, if we can save money, we need to save money. But your engineering folks have looked at this number. You two have looked at this number. And do you feel this is a reasonable cost for this kind of incremental benefit to the city?
We do, based upon the bids we've received for similar water lines elsewhere in the city of Friendswood.
Thank you.
This is a 380 agreement. This is based on what Adam and his company is going to put on the ground there as far as property tax, future property tax revenue. It's a lot of future value on the ground there.
35 million or plus?
5 million.
5 million when it's built out, but you're welcome to ask the developer to answer any of these
I
questions.
think we got a pretty good number there. So this is not any different than the 380 agreement where we give them money, 1% to the developer, and in this case, he's spending it on something that's going to help the city. So by helping the water pressures in that area with a larger line, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
And just for council, mayor's knowledge, this is coming out of the water and sewer fund, so this is not the general fund. This is used funds that would be going towards a infrastructure purpose, whether it would be here or whether it would be elsewhere in town.
We still need to be, sorry, still need to be
Yes, sir.
stewards
Yes, sir.
of money.
So being on the north side of Briar Meadow, it's not really in the wheelhouse of this project. I mean, if it was on the site, I would get why we were doing that instead of just bidding it as a separate project of the city.
Again, we like to use economies of scale. There's already work that's being done in this area. There's already contractors out there.
I will show you my bid tabs. We're not getting economies of scale. That
I mean,
is
from the standpoint of rather
my
than the
problem.
city going and installing the line ourselves, but
I get it, but I mean, we're circumventing the process. I know it's expeditious to do it, but we have a lot of that happens at this city.
Point made. Any other comments? Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor? Opposed? 5-1. Item 11, proposed ordinances and resolutions. 11A, consider an ordinance amending the future land use map of the property located generally at 4700 block of FM 2351, a tract of land containing 29.3726 acres to change its designation from retail and industrial to mixed use, and amending the official zoning map to change the zoning classification for such property from community shopping center to an industrial to planned unit development. Aubrey Harbin, Director of Community Development.
Yes. So this application was before you last month. There was a couple of items that you requested the applicant to address. The applicant is here tonight, but just a summary, the first item was the sound. So on page 11 of the revised PUD, they have assured us that a sound study would be submitted as part of the site plan approval process with the Planning and Zoning Commission. Preliminary indications are that the 70-foot setback would be sufficient. And then on page 12, they entered a phasing plan. So phase 1 would be the multifamily and detention pond. Phase 2 is the neighborhood commercial portion or the commercial. The release of the certificates of occupancy for the buildings in the multifamily would be contingent upon the submittal of permit applications for up to 25% of the proposed commercial buildings, requiring construction to start within 180 days of issuance of those permits.
All right, does the applicant want to say anything?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of council. My name is Jeff Boutte. I'm with EHRA Engineering, so we're the applicant for this zoning case. Address is 1011 Meadow Glen Lane, Houston, Texas, 77042. Yeah, so I would just like to, I'll start with the two additions that we made. So we have not done a sound study yet, so I want to be clear that there was not enough time to do so. What we've done instead is we've looked at some of the calculations and formula for how sound does dissipate over long distances. And we, after looking at those studies, or at those, using some online tools and some other calculations, we've proposed a performance standard that we feel comfortable with. And I think that's the best we could do at this point, which is to say that in the PUD, there's now a text that says that the future residential structure setback needs to be able to be proven that with a sound study that a decibel level of 70 at the property line for the Garage Ultimate site would result in 58 decibels or less where we've placed the residential buildings. And what that would mean is that that would be in compliance with the current noise ordinance. So normal operations on that site means that the noise there would travel to at least so far a distance away that the residential units there would experience 58 decibels or less, which is actually the sound that would be required for nighttime. But also, if some of these sound studies or if these calculations we've made are incorrect, or if there's more information to the story that gets determined on site, we've also said that the residential structure setback could go back further on the second phase of this site plan review. And they could also include that we could build sound walls if needed to get the decibel level where it should be for the residential structure setback. Also want to make the point that this is a two-phase zoning process, and so the first phase is to approve a conceptual plan along with the PUD text, which is what you have, which was what staff has reviewed and what Planning and Zoning Commission recommended for approval. It sets the rules and regulations for the development, and so in the future, if this were to be approved, we would be back first with staff submitting full civil plans, detention plans, and then those plans would go back before P&Z and before council to make sure that we are compliant with the rules that have been set forth in the PUD text. At that point, I'd also like to point out, this is not just a straight multifamily rezoning. So this is a planned unit development. Along with the residential units that are proposed is roughly 85,000 square feet of office, retail, and commercial space that would be integrated on the site. Before you, in the second page of your packet, you see a site plan. And so you can see that these units are a mix of what are traditionally called garden-style apartments, 3 to 4 story apartments that would overlook the golf course, as well as a series of townhome units which are central to the site around a common green space promenade area. So it's not your typical apartment development, and it's also not just a straight multifamily rezoning. So all of the things in this PUD text would be back before you at the site plan review. And I'd also just briefly like to speak on the traffic and the detention. So part of this would require traffic impact analysis. We checked with our traffic impact, or our traffic engineers at EHRA, and part of that process could include additional improvements to 2351 in terms of turn lanes or stoplights, even though the distances are fairly close to some other stoplights near the Timber Creek, Golf Club Road, and Blackhawk. Typically in urban areas, TxDOT, sometimes they will approve lights at closer increments than you see in some of the more rural highway areas. And so a light wouldn't be precluded. We're not promising that, of course, but if traffic studies would indicate that there would be enough traffic to warrant that, that could be accomplished, as well as on-site improvements such as additional turn lanes or capacity at the entry points and exit points to the site. Like we have two median cuts, one at the proposed private drive that we have on the west side, and then another at the existing median cut at the public roadway easement. We've also been in talks with the adjacent property owner to the west to look at doing regional detention. Well, he's actually already pursuing a regional detention agreement with Harris County. We would be able to participate in that potentially. And if we are able to do that, then the site plan that you see would change some. We would have less on-site detention, which means that we could move the multifamily buildings further away from the Garage Ultimate site. We would still be limited to the proposed number of units, so the 391, which is what the density says in the PUD text. But it was also mentioned, what's the developer giving, or what are we trying to do? And we are actually proposing a connection to Frankie, to the Randolph Carter Park there, if the county would allow it. So that's in the PUD text, is that there would be a potential trail connection if we can work that out with the county. And I'm hopeful that if there is a regional detention solution that we can participate in, that's usually where some of these trails go, is on the edge of detention ponds, and it could connect to the creek system there and then get to the park. And then the last thing I want to comment on is just the future land use plan change. And so, we're asking for, or part of this process would mean a change in designation on the future land use plan to mixed use. And my argument, and the reason I thought this might be a good case to take on, is that this particular area is at a point of transition in the city of Friendswood. So part of this panhandle, it may look like it's all surrounded, it's pink industrial land, but directly to our north is the Timber Creek Golf Club. Directly to our west is vacant land that's going to be used for regional detention, as well as just adjacent to that is the public county park. To the south is a high school, as well as some commercial retail businesses, and as well as some other multifamily. And so it's not necessarily a small piece of rezoning in a sea of pink industrial. If you look at the site plan, you can see it's not developed industrial on 3 of our sides. And so I feel like this appropriately is a point of transition in the future land use plan. And with that, if there's any questions, the property owner is here, or if there's any questions for me, of course, we'll do our best to answer those this time.
Question for the property owner or the
Well, I don't know
engineer?
if it'd be you or if it'd be Murad. I know one of the things we highlight, and I guess it's what the purple buildings around the perimeter, that's your commercial?
Yes, proposed, yes.
Can one of you go over what is I know we talked about, we'd like to see some commercial come online before the multifamily were to come online. Not poking, but
Sure.
Lovely development. Councilmember Trenga lives there, and it's almost 30 years old now. I don't think the commercial side is ever developed.
So in
our history, the commercial side never comes along.
Well, we heard that feedback at council last time. We didn't have a specific number that I heard mentioned. We went ahead and put in a proposal that says that 25% of the commercial would need to be submitted for permits and then constructed within 180 days before the CO for the multifamily could be issued. But of course, that number is completely up to whatever council thinks is appropriate. I will say it's the intent, it's always been the intent that everything would be constructed within the timeline that's required within the current ordinance for PUDs. So this being a planned unit development, there are particular timelines for how long this is valid, and the developer, in this case, both developers, the multifamily and the commercial, would need to be showing progress. And so the way we've written this is 25%, like I said, would need to be submitted for permit before the COs for the multifamily could be issued, and then construction would start within 180 days and be completed. All of it would be completed within 2 years. But if there's more, particular refinements to that, or that number needs to be higher, that's up to the discretion of council, of course.
Is the permitting enough teeth? Or
So from a pragmatic standpoint, no. We would like to see the COs for this, for the commercial tied to the permits for the residential as the only guarantee that you get the commercial in conjunction with the residential.
Okay, that was kind of my thinking, so I'd need a little more teeth in it.
Councilmember Matranga.
Now, is this just, at this opportunity, is this just questions for the developer, or this is our discussion?
So far, this is all the developer.
This is all the same.
You'll have time to discuss too, at the motion too. You'll have several times.
So,
Everybody's saying multiple things here.
so there is no public
No,
hearing.
I have no questions for him.
Okay.
So I can wait.
I have a question for the developer.
Go ahead.
So you've come up with 85,000 square feet of mixed-use commercial, and what was your market demand analysis that you came up with that square footage?
I am not the developer. My name is Lyle Hinkle. I live in Jersey Village, 8630 Wyndham Village Drive. I'm a retired civil engineer. I just started working for the developer recently. And I really don't know what the analysis they did to come up with that.
Yeah. Just a little background. I do master plan development, and we do really thorough analysis of every commercial retail node that we plan, because we need to not skimp on it, because cities are always asking us to add and add more than probably is necessary, because it does great for the coffers. But the reality of it is 85,000 square feet at this location, when I look at every little piece of retail on that road right now, is vacant, or a smoke shop, or some not super high-end use. So I couldn't possibly look at this without at least some form of market demand analysis to say 85,000 square feet is actually something that could be absorbed. I mean, it just seems silly. So it looks like the carrot to get your apartments to me. And I get you just walked in on this, and I've been in your shoes before, but that's something that, would have to be at a minimum addressed, is to prove up that 85,000 square feet is the right amount.
Exactly right. And this developer typically does that at some point during the design process.
Okay.
They definitely aren't going to build it and cross their fingers.
It would be mixed use, so office, retail.
Yep, I understand.
A full
Yep.
mix, not
I just-
85,000 of only retail.
I just permitted 1 million square feet on a 3,200 acre development. That's 3,200 acres with 13,000 units adjacent to it. And it was integrated into the community. So 85,000 square feet, even though that's less than a tenth at this location, seems very high.
I don't know of any market studies that they've done. I assume they have. They purchased the property in 2023. They've developed
2024, according to the deed. I'm just looking at the general warranty deed as part of your PDA application.
Yeah, I was looking at the last ownership change on HCAD. But yes, they purchased the property for at least 2024 for a couple of years, now. I don't believe that they would have purchased this property if they didn't intend to, or if they didn't believe that there was a demand here for the types of office, retail, and commercial areas that they build.
Okay, as a developer, I don't close on the property until I've got my entitlements. They closed on this property without the entitlements. Something tells me that they speculated that they were getting a good enough deal to take the risk. Now, ordinarily, I'm a property rights guy, through and through. But we have an existing zoning. We're in the process of incorporating a new comp plan specifically to address some of the nuances of this area. I don't know how anybody could vote on this while that comp plan is sitting there and we can go through the process. And I understand comp plans are not perfect, but at the same time, you're looking at this area specifically to how can we restructure the zoning so it makes more sense for the city of Friendswood. Adding an apartment complex with a half-baked mixed-use retail component or mixed-use commercial component is antithetical to doing a comp plan in this area. It is just piecemeal zoning, and it puts it in the hands of 7 people as opposed to the community. Because at the end of the day, that comp plan is going to be reviewed by the community, and we're going to get some input from them. So, you know, here we are today looking at this, and I'm concerned. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Any other questions?
I don't think so. If we need you, we'll call you back up. I will kick this off by saying I am completely in agreement with Councilmember Ross on this. I don't see this as a good project. Yes? Sorry. This just doesn't fit in that area of town. Our citizens have spoken, all made great points, things I'm thinking, you know, I don't need to repeat, but I just don't see this as a good project for this part of town. And I am also worried, like some of you have said, that the drawing a permit for 25% of the commercial is just a carrot, you know, for us to give them COs for the apartment. And then, you know, there's no teeth in that to make sure that they build the commercial stuff, the mixed use. So I don't like it. Sorry, it just doesn't feel good to me. So comments?
Yeah, I mean, we've all talked about noise, we've talked about traffic, and we talked about some of these same things in our last meeting, Mayor. You know, this is incompatible zoning. I can't think of a worse place where we've got residential next to industrial. It's just a bad spot. You know, lack of amenities nearby. We were talking about grocery stores, what's the closest and what close restaurants. But, you know, I guess I really want to thank the developer for purchasing property within Friendswood and wanting to put their money in the ground here. But no, not this particular project in this location. I am not supportive as well.
Anybody else?
Maybe Garage Ultimate can make a deal to buy it.
Yes. Those guys are in the room.
I don't know why Friendswood has gotten so
Popular?
no, so animated with multifamily and small lots. I think I'm with, I think it was Mr. Bessett who knows my record. I vote on 90 by 120 foot lots all day long, and the density is something that I really have always admired about Friendswood. The 90 by 120 foot lots are the standard, and we've moved away from it. And I don't know why we're trying to get over 55,000 residents in Friendswood. We do that, and we're going to be looking at costs that we really don't have to bear because we're not big enough to take on the hospital districts like you're supposed to. We'll lose TxDOT, as terrible as they are. Excuse me, TxDOT, for saying that. But the problem out here, as far as traffic goes, is the school. And the problem is we've got medians that are sitting there that's prohibiting these kids from getting out of the way and pulling in to the parking lots. And I know Friendswood loves their medians, but I tell you the truth, we need to wipe out all those medians and give them all the room they need. And we got to talk to Clear Creek ISD to tell Clear Creek ISD that they have got to do something to get people off of 2351 in the mornings. Now, mitigating this traffic after 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning till about 3:30, 4 o'clock when the school gets out, it's not going to be that bad. But my God, in the morning, I've drove it. I went over today to Friendswood, the new apartments over there on El Dorado. I went over to August Apartments over there. I made several trips, and then I think it's over there in their Bay Area, the ones across Fitness. In the morning, it's terrible. afternoon, I went over to Sam's, drove right by it, no problem mitigating. And they're all by schools. But the problem is the schools have to plan for the flow of these kids coming in and out of their district. And any future development that we do out here at the Panhandle has to take into consideration that flow. And I think the median's got to go. And then I think this commercial, if it's not working on one side, if commercial's not working on one side of 2351, it's not going to work on the other side. It's industrial. I don't see it being single-family residential, but if it were, it'd be 90 by 120-foot lots if I were going to vote on it, because I don't want the population in Friendswood to get over 55,000. I just don't.
No comments?
Murad, I had one more question for you related to traffic impact analysis. Can be either done pre-zoning, which I would prefer from a standpoint of understanding what the impact of a project like this would be on that roadway system. I understand in this particular case, the school is the bigger driver of a lot of the traffic units, and as Robert said, it was peak flow, AM, PM, relative to the school getting in and out. But one of the things you really want to do on the planning side is to figure out what the problems are in advance before you agree to a zoning. Now, I could see, yeah, we can say here are your impacts that you're going to have to mitigate for with turn lanes and decel lanes and things like that. But it seems a little bit after the fact from a standpoint of we as a council or the P&Z might have wanted to say, you know what, that's just adding too many hurdles to overcome before it got to them, so we wouldn't want to do it. So just something to think about. I've talked to P&Z chair about it, and it's something that we might consider in the future. So
our current ordinance for planned unit developments allow for a two-option process.
Two versions,
So
yeah.
if you want to do a conceptual PUD, which this is, they get approval of the uses and a conceptual idea, but the TIA, the traffic impact analysis, and the site plan come at a later date. If they want to provide those documents up front and spend more money up front, knowing that there's no guarantee that the rezoning will be approved, they're welcome to do that as well. But as you've touched on it, the mitigating solutions for any traffic that's generated in this area are fairly limited to median openings, decel, and acceleration lanes. There is a possibility of getting a traffic signal at this location, but it's already congested enough as it is. Even with industrial use, you're going to still have the issues with large tractor trailers coming in and out of the site.
And they pay a lot of ad valorem tax. Millions of dollars are flowing in from out there into CCISD, and CCISD needs to get those people off of 2351. These schools need to understand these kids got to pull off somewhere to get into the parking lot and get out of the way of the people that are trying to get to 45.
Yeah, no, and I don't disagree, but no offense to CCISD, we have the same issue.
We have
around
the same issue here.
FISD High School.
It's forethought.
It's
We're going to have the same problem trying to develop the Panhandle, putting it in a comprehensive plan, and we're going to come up with all of this same thing again, and it really needs to be thought out. And I think I was really glad to see in the comprehensive plan, y'all were bringing in the stakeholders who are actually developers out there and who actually own the land out there that can actually tell you what works and what doesn't work. And I'm glad to see that we, afterthought maybe, thought it would be a good idea to bring in the stakeholders. So when we do get together and we all plan this out on a comprehensive plan, let's work with the stakeholders out there and see what we can do to push CCISD. I'd really like to see Garage Ultimate get out there and help combine with all the efforts of the Panhandle and see if everything can be worked together. It's one thing to push someone out, but it's another to make everything work. So I want to see everything work. I must be like, everybody, let's get together tonight. I don't know.
Kumbaya, yeah. All right, let's get this thing moving forward. Does anybody want to make a motion for this, approval of this?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor? Opposed? Fails 6-0. Yeah. All right, 11B, consider on first reading an ordinance amending Appendix A signs, Section 1 definition, Section 9 prohibited signs, Subsection A, and Section 25 non-conforming signs, Subsection F conversion of existing billboards to changeable electronic variable message signs, CEVMS, of the Friendswood City Code to update the CEVMS requirements and to allow the conversion of CEVMS if specified requirements are satisfied. Aubrey, you coming back up for this one?
Do it. Yeah. Since Aubrey's been up enough, and I'm sure y'all love
haven't had a
hearing
chance
me
to talk
speak
much.
over Aubrey.
Just realized she's walking in a boot, and I was just like,
Oh, Lord.
Sorry, Aubrey.
you did a great job of making those match.
Yep.
Okay.
So, as City Council is well aware, we have 4 billboards throughout the community. We've had those in place for a number of years. Our current ordinance currently prohibits the installation of new billboards. This prohibition has been put into place a number of years back. In 2008, we specified that we also prohibit the conversion of those current static billboards to the electronic ones that they can change copy, for instance. In 2017, council reconsidered that prohibition and said if we are allowed to get some public messaging out there, that we would welcome some of those static billboards be converted to electronic ones in exchange for that public messaging component. But those new billboards would have to utilize the existing structures, the existing poles, the existing substructures, and still comply with all the building and wind loading requirements for those signs. Moving on to the next slide. We recently, in 2017, like I mentioned before, we limited the location to the existing locations of those existing legally non-conforming signs and same sites, same size requirements and building code requirements. Next slide. This current ordinance that's before you would allow for the replacement of an existing legally non-conforming billboard with a new legally non-conforming, but an electronic billboard that it will allow the same public messaging, the same public safety messaging, as well as community events messaging, but sets certain distance requirements, both as stipulated by state law as well as our own ordinance, and puts in certain protections to protect against any adverse nuisances to residential areas, both audibly as well as visually. It's completely a subjective matter for this city council. Both signs, both existing and the new ones, if we were to adopt this ordinance, would consider the signs legally non-conforming, meaning should there ever be an act of God or an event that these signs come down, they can't be put back up. If council were to approve this, in order for a new one to go up, an existing one has to come down first. But we do have the added benefit of being able to provide some community messaging, which, as I hear routinely from council members and folks in the community, well, I didn't know. Well, we put stuff out on social media, we put stuff out in our email blast and website. This would just give us another tool in the tool chest to be able to communicate to our residents on a timely basis.
Well, I'll kick this off by saying I voted for this change in 2017, maybe my first year on city council or second year. Yes. I like the converting billboards to electronic for the reason you just stated, that now we get some time on the rotating signage in case we need it, getting the message out, you know, a lost child, whatever, you know, hey, hurricane coming and people aren't on our notification system, but they drive past the billboard and it pops up and says, hey, you know. So I like that. And the fact that we're not adding a billboard, we're taking one down first and then putting up a nicer electronic sign, I think is a good idea. So yes, we'll still have the same number of billboards, but billboards that are here are obviously grandfathered, so this just allows for a better one to be put in its place. I like it.
I'd like to tag on to what the mayor just said. That was actually my first year on council, and I did vote for this, for the messaging in particular, because emergency messaging is critical. So, and I like that we're going to take one down, put another one up. So we're not adding to it. It'll be a net zero. So I would be supportive of this.
Anybody else?
Well, I just believe the air estate's a valuable commodity, and I think the people who sell space on that airspace is wonderful. That's the American way, profit and loss and all that good stuff. But yeah, I'd like to have electronic signs out there. We've got one right there at the Friendswood Friends Church. It tells me what time to be there in the morning.
Let's be a little bigger than that one, Robert.
Doesn't tell you.
It tells
Gotta
me
read
what
it.
time I
Rod, I just want to confirm something.
Yes,
So
sir.
the reason it's moving is because of the conversion to electronic, right?
So the current ordinance allows the existing static billboard to be converted on the current site. Unfortunately, the technology is such that it wouldn't be able to be structurally certified by an engineer, both from a wind load and a loading standpoint.
And the other 3 billboards that we have in the city of Friendswood, they're all along 20 through 51, is that?
Correct. One at near Blackhawk and the other 2 just further into Harris County near the subject site that we talked about the rezoning a second ago.
Okay. And under the current ordinance that we're considering, none of those could be relocated because of other, either state or otherwise restrictions on electronic signs, is that correct?
Not that we can tell. Now, if they wanted to tear down at their existing location and build a new one, provided they can get a permit from the state of Texas, as all the signs are required to do, since it is a farm-to-market road, and they don't exceed the height and the size of those existing ones, then they can convert as well.
I mean, my thinking is if, without the public notices, without the emergency notices, I'm not sure I would be in favor of this, but we really are always looking for communication methods to our residents in all forms, and I think this would be a great benefit on 528 for those residents.
This will help, but I promise you, you'll still hear a resident that said, I had no idea. Whatever.
That's fair, but we're giving them one more way to try to get to everyone.
Yes.
So I'm in favor of this.
So one of the things when we discussed this was how difficult a little window we've been painted into is if we really wanted to, like I said, like, okay, just if we want to run our own billboards, why don't we just put our own billboards up? And then you're like, well, that just opens us up to litigation where, we're providing our own self-service, so to speak, in getting that and precluding others from having it. So I think where you're at today is probably the best way to handle this, and I commend you for finding the best way to make this better. So I'm for it as well from that standpoint.
All right. Can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? 6-0. Okay, item 11C, we're almost out of here.
Kumbaya.
Consider an ordinance amending the city's general budget for fiscal year 2025-2026 by approving budget amendment 4 and providing for supplemental appropriation and/or transfer of certain funds.
Motion to approve.
Second. Any comments, questions? All in favor? 6-0. Item 12, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I wanted to pull one. I had a note. The AT&T discussion, C.
12C, okay. All right. I need a motion approving consent agenda items 12A, 12B, and 12D through 12G.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right. All in favor? 6-0. Okay, let me read C. Now consider item 12C, approving the Friendswood Downtown Economic Development Corporation's payment to AT&T to prepare a cost estimate for a custom work order to remove and relocate communication lines for the downtown area. Rod, you want to talk about it? Stephen? Great.
Stephen's very involved in this.
Just to let you know, this item here is for an amount of $15,000 that's funded by the Friendswood Downtown Economic Development Corporation, or the FDEDC. Part of the mission of the EDC, per their downtown improvement plan, is to remove some of the visual clutter, in this instance, the overhead communication lines along FM 518. The 2 biggest culprits currently are AT&T and Comcast. They hang the lowest on those lines. This $15,000 funds AT&T directly to put together a scope and development engineering plan to remove the lines. Once that is complete, they can provide us with the dollar amount that it would take to go ahead and remove the lines in their totality and bury them along 518.
Have they provided a rough cost estimate for that type of work in their experience?
Previously, this was about 18 months ago, They were looking anywhere between $850,000 and $1.2 million, give or take. But that has not
Pretty
been.
wide scope, huh?
It's a broad scope, but that is why the EDC at that time did not pay for this study. And they went back and talked, workshopped it a little bit more. Here recently, they have come back and said that they would like to go ahead and pursue this to see what that cost would actually be.
Has the EDC worked with Comcast in the same nature?
We have. We currently have another request to Comcast. They have not answered us back yet. They do theirs a tad bit differently. They have a third-party contractor that they just farm it out to, and they say, it's up to you guys, tell us how much. And then it's almost just a pass-through. Previously, they were about $850,000.
Okay, so between the two of them, we can put these underground effectively for somewhere between 1.6 and $2 million.
I hope so, sir, yes.
The next question was, and this was because we had this issue with the power lines, potentially is, what's to preclude them from going back up with the next set?
To preclude AT&T and Comcast, while they will not come out and tell you that they will never go back up, they will tell you that their technology is not headed that direction. And then also that if something does happen, if it has to be replaced or repaired, they will do it in place. So wherever it is located at the time, that's where it will be repaired. So if they are in the ground, they will pull new wire, they will make the changes that they need to there. But I totally understand the concern. That's one of the reasons why they went ahead and did this $15,000 expenditure to see what it would be, thinking that it would be in line with Comcast as well. So we're hoping to get both of them back so they can discuss it a little further.
Stephen, did we do any pre-planning before we went in with the pavers with TxDOT on the, all this sidewalking, the $4 million that the TxDOT came in? Did we do any pre-planning for burial?
So we did not do pre-planning for the communication lines.
Oh, that was for lighting.
We did for the lighting, yes, sir.
I couldn't remember.
So our right-of-way along 518 is fairly congested. There's sections that are only 80 feet wide in between long-standing storm sewer lines, water lines, parallel storm sewer lines. There's not a lot of room for opportunity. That's why it didn't matter when we were doing the sidewalk project. We couldn't put in another pipe in order for this burial.
That's what you engineers are for.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions on this?
So,
Is that a yes? Councilmember Ross?
sorry.
Sir.
Sir, you had your chance to speak earlier. I'm going to have to ask you. We're just trying to get this meeting.
Wrapped up.
Yes, sir.
I get it. So when we get through this study, how long is that going to take? Second question is, if we tell them to pull the trigger, how long will the construction take? Did they give you any idea on that?
So I'm not going to know the answer to question 2 until the study's done, just based upon the amount of work that's going to have to take place. This meeting here, if this item is approved, that check gets cut this week and it goes to AT&T, and then however long it takes their engineers. Because we didn't do this step last time with AT&T, I'm not quite sure. Okay. Comcast took about 2 to 3 weeks to get us their full plan last time.
Sorry, I missed the last meeting, so I didn't get to ask all these questions in that meeting. I apologize. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion to
On
approve.
this item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right, item 12C passes 6-0. All right, going into executive session now, item 13. So we will be back.
Break.
Yeah, break.
Will you go ahead and please read the script to announce the section you're going to?
Oh, okay. I don't read that back there.
Janice, how are you?
Hang on a second. It's now 8:15. We'll recess and convene into an executive session pursuant to Section 551.074 for the Texas Government Code to deliberate the annual performance of the city attorney.
Just so you know.
Letty, do you like the new layout? That is so.
She's such a politician.
Yeah, I like it if you like it.
School district, pass it along.
This place cleared out.
I like the chair. I like the chairs a lot better.
Oh, there's.
Oh, yeah?
They can hear us out there? Oh, wow.
See, now you're sitting in a chair.
So who was talking?
Nicely done, staff.
Who'd you hear talking the most, Jill?
Said everybody's name on the back,
You or me.
which is good. They don't have that.
Quiet at this end.
Yeah.
It's that end of the dais that's so chatty.
Okay, item 14, consider taking appropriate action regarding the city attorney's. I'm reading right from the script.
Reconvene.
Oh, yeah, we didn't make any decisions.
Oh, I'm sorry. I now reconvene the open meeting of the Friendswood City Council and announce that in accordance with section 551.102 of the Texas Government Code, no action was taken in executive session. We now move on to item 14A. Consider taking appropriate action regarding city attorney's annual performance evaluation. I need a detailed motion for this item. Councilmember Branson?
So we did not take any action in executive session, as the mayor said, but we make a recommendation that our city attorney receive a 4.5% increase.
I will second that motion.
All those in favor?
That sounded just like the mayor.
Congratulations.
Good job. There being no further items, this meeting is adjourned.
Well done. Welcome back, Mayor.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm back.
No kidding.